Hello and welcome to another episode of the Digital India Summit 2020, Enabling the New Normal, co-presented by Tata Consultancy Services and banking partner Union Bank of India. Now in its sixth edition, the summit was envisioned with the purpose to accelerate India's digital transformation by defining an action plan for progress. This week, we're focusing on the new opportunities that have been placed before corporate India thanks to digitalization. What does digital transformation mean to business leaders, and how are they balancing costs and the upskilling of the workforce along with the digitalization of their business? Times Network's Aisha Faridi will be in conversation with Kulmeet Bawa, President and MD SAP India, Rajesh Nambiar, Chairman and MD Cognizant, Vinati Saraf, MD and CEO Vinati Organics Limited, and Gautam Garg, Senior Director and CIO PepsiCo India.
Well, COVID-19 has clearly made digital transformation imperative, if I can't lay more emphasis on that, with human creativity at the center of the change. As patterns shift across sectors, a new post-pandemic reality has been thrown up at all of us and is taking root for the long haul, clearly, to say the least. But at the same time, the old hasn't even gone away. COVID-19 has not just impacted businesses, but also livelihoods, forcing us to stop and find newer ways of survival. To stay relevant in this new normal, businesses, economic environment, digital transformation has taken a quantum leap both at organizational as well as the industry levels. And today, to ponder about digital thrust to enterprise, new opportunities, I have with me an expert panel joining in on the show. Please welcome Kulmeet Bawa, President and MD at SAP India, Rajesh Nambiar, Chairman and MD at Cognizant, Vinati Saraf, MD and CEO at Vinati Organics Limited, and also Gautam Garg, Senior Director and CIO at PepsiCo India. Vinati, as well as gentlemen, good to have you all on the show. Thanks for taking the time out, as always. Kulmeet, if I could start the discussion with you. What, according to you, are the key elements and ingredients, if I can call them that an enterprise needs today in order to navigate through this new reality in the post-pandemic world?
So thanks, and like we said, this is the new age. It's great being here. Today we've probably moved into into the next phase from what we used to look at as reimagining workflows. We've actually moved into reimagining of entire business models. From an SAP perspective, we are in the age of intelligent enterprises, which is core to our strategy, with machines as co-workers, right? And what we are finding is that more and more there is a focus on high value tasks, as we call it, which is becoming a competitive differentiator for enterprises, for organizations all across. And it's estimated, and I guess we all know the statistics, but in a finite time, maybe by 2025, we will have almost 60% of human tasks interpreted, automated, right, by 2025. And just taking off one last thing, since I spoke about the intelligent enterprise, I guess the way we look at it, and Aisha, to address your point, it typically requires three broad strategic pillars, right? One is the suite covering customer experiences and supply chains and digital supply chains. The second, of course, is everything around intelligent technologies, and finally around digital platforms that we talk so much about.
Rajesh, I know IT has mastered it all. Just about every IT company that we speak with, they seem to be pretty much on the ball, adapting to this new post-COVID reality. But how is it that you began reimagining workflows with AI, automation, thereby reducing the need for manpower?
Look, we all live in this surreal times, as you know, right? But I also want to say, before we even get into AI and whatnot, but I think whatever we do as an organization, right, whether it is for work that we do with the customers, or the work that we do through our foundation or our volunteering program, the focus is going to be around improving and enhancing the lives of people all around the world. Yeah. So our approach to digital technologies, including AI and automation, it is also to focus on creating solutions that offer best customer experiences and better outcomes and whatnot. Yeah. So now let's get to, I mean, you had a question around how do we leverage AI in the new norm, if you may. AI and automation should actually be enhancing these professions. I mean, when you look at an AI or automation assisted, a doctor is going to be much better doctor, much more effective doctor than someone who does not use it. Similarly, some of this teacher will have to be a better teacher and so on and so forth. So that's a fundamental premise of how we believe that AI and automation should actually be working, right? And organizations are actually fueled by the desire to continuously innovate and make everyday life better for their customers and end users. So in my mind, at least, AI and automation have the potential to really positively impact a larger population, and we're already seeing it in many ways. Yeah. But I'll pause here, and I can go on forever, but I just want to, broadly, that's how we position our automation and AI. And there are a ton of examples I can take you through if you like. Yeah.
Sure. Vinity, since you're the non-techie as well here, let me come to you and get in your perspective. From the specialty chemical industry, how is it that you move to digital or the contactless economy as all of us are adapting to post-COVID?
So, yeah, yes, we are a traditional manufacturing company. And while, yes, our plants are continuous operations plant, highly automated, where we use all sorts of systems for predictive maintenance and whatnot. And, we are fully SAP enabled. But a simple thing like work from home wasn't a concept in our organization till 8 months back. And now, because of COVID, because of the world that we are living in, it's a norm, it's standard. So people have and benefits of that as well. We were just talking, productivity has improved, travel has come down. We're a fully export oriented company. Now we can have the same interaction virtually. So increases customer interaction because you can do it more often, as well as cut costs. So simple thing like that has made a big difference in our company.
Gautam, the channel may change, but the product remains the same. So help me understand, how is it that you manage to navigate your business? Be it the Kirana Wala or an app, we're still ordering your products, right? But did technology help you understand the needs, especially in the FMCG, the manufacturing businesses, thereby leveraging your business even further?
PepsiCo was always a digitized organization. But what has really changed in the last 9 months is we have become a digital savvy organization. So what is happening is we move from why digitization to why not. So there has been a sea change in the organization, and this has basically helped us to leapfrog in terms of the digitization mindset. Right? Technologies were always there. We would always have great partners like SAP, Cognizance, and the others. But that mindset was something which has, I believe, been incorporated in the organization. So to answer your question, yes, there has been a couple of business trends, right, which we have seen. And, to me, to answer your question, there are two key business trends which we are talking about here. The first one is, of course, the consumer behavior, right? The consumer behavior is changing. And more importantly, it's not only the product. They are looking at much more than the product. They are looking at value. They are looking at quality of the brand and what exactly is the brand doing in the ecosystem. So I think that's something from a consumer perspective, right? And the second thing we are talking about is, of course, the channel mix, right? We move practically from a mom and pop trade to an online space, work which has been that space. So to answer your question again, to answer this on the consumer side, as a consumer, of course, Pepsi is a much loved brand, and we have highest brand qualities, and we've changed the consumer pack, because what is happening is, instead of consumers having product on the go or in restaurant, they are now having products at home. So the pack sizes have changed. So that is one trend on the consumer side. While on the channel side, what we are doing is we are coming up with e-commerce options. Of course, there are ordering capabilities for the retailer through WhatsApp and other mediums to order through retailers. And we are also strengthening our B2B partnership like Big Basket, Dunzo, and Udans and the e-Grameen stores.
Sure. Kulmeet, now, there are two aspects to the post-COVID world. It's digitally enabling businesses, and there's also workforce skilling to try and up them with the speed at which the digital transformation needs to be adapted. How is it that you at SAP India marry both and enable both the ecosystems?
We are living in extraordinary times, I guess, this year. But like we say, with every challenge, we also have massive opportunities that come in, right? To your point, and I'll give you the India view for a second, the way what we're doing from an
Sure.
SAP India perspective, and I'll touch upon both your points. I guess if I was to look at the two areas that can truly be transformational for us, and that would touch exactly what you were talking about. One, of course, would be the creation of this robust talent pool, right, through skilling initiatives. And second, what I feel is it's critical for us to solve the whole or address or digitally enable the whole MSME sector, which is probably one of the biggest engines for growth. So touching upon the whole workforce skilling piece, so a lot of statistics around that, right? One half of global digital talent is from India, most of the STEM graduates. However, when you look at the country, to your point, I think we've got just about 2.3% of our workforce that is formally skilled, which is appalling, which is a worry, I guess, for all of us. And so ecosystem development, talent development becomes most crucial to India's success. And I always say it's a multi-stakeholder commitment, right? It needs a collaboration between industry, it needs a collaboration between industry and government, and various other facets. And from an SAP perspective, of course, we've been partnering with central and state governments and also with industry associations like the NASSCOM for one, right? That's an example. The whole skilling and reskilling. We've entered into partnerships with the MSME ministry, with the Ministry of Skill Development, Entrepreneurship, and we've got various programs that we are running with the aim of how can we as SAP India contribute towards the skilling of let's say 5 million youth, right? How do we make them digitally literate, and how do we target 100,000 SMEs to start with by 2023? So that's the big picture. And towards that, of course, we've launched a lot of programs in the last few years. One of them, and I'll leave the details out, but one of them is what we call the Global Bharat program, right? Which is essentially to help both SMEs and to help skill India, help them embrace digitization, help them focus on enhancing overall business value.
Rajesh, there's no taking away from the fact that the next decade or perhaps longer, the world needs to get digitized. And the COVID pandemic only acted as an accelerator to the entire process. Um, what would be the challenge, however, in this process, you think, and the must-dos and the must-haves from an enterprise or business point of view?
Yeah, I think when we look at digital, right? I mean, I at least I believe that it will fundamentally boil down to what we define as the granularity. I mean, this actually has manifested by sensing, perception, decision, and action, and this is a new dimension of organizational capability. Why am I saying that? With the real time response and predictive capability, and of course, you talked about technology, so whether it is IoT, communication, edge, cloud, data science, there are a plethora of these things which will come around that. But the ability for when you look at outside of the organization, so you look at market of one. So the ability for you to almost get the market size. Remember, previously market size used to be very broad classification of what you're going after, but now it's going to be very, very narrowed down to almost to an individual, and that's what the today's marketing is about, right? How do you personalize things for you as an individual? So that is the from the outside, and but within the organization is sharpening units of management within the company. And we have technology, and then the whole digital has enabled us to have that ability for us to get there. Let's, for example, take supply chain, and I know that there in a Pepsi and some of the others would probably relate to this even more. Supply chain has gone through a lot of change in the recent, especially with pandemic. When you look at what happened is, the moment pandemic was it, and there's so much of issue, and then everybody thought getting away from certain places where this was affected without knowing that it's going to be all over the world. As long as I don't have a manufacturing facility in China, I'll be better off, and so on and so forth, right? That was the initial reaction. But then, when you truly look into what really happened, was that this pandemic has revealed the inadequate preparedness across the global supply chain for a variety of business disruptions, right? So the massive disruption actually was caused by, across industries, and then excessively dependent on the suppliers in certain regions, and then this has actually pushed the companies to rethink and almost resculpting their supply chain. So I believe data can help business map their suppliers more accurately than maneuver better in these kind of times of crisis.
Right. And Vinity, maybe you could come in here because, this is where businesses like you come in. The entire supply chain dynamics and marrying that with technology would be a great enabler for businesses like you at Vinity Organic.
Yeah, absolutely, Aisha. See, again, ours is we make very few chemicals, niche chemicals, specialty chemicals. We procure also few products. But coming to how it could help, say specifically to our organization, we are looking at seriously at reverse bidding platforms such as Ariba. We are looking at digitizing a whole logistics supply chain. Platforms have instead of getting quotations every time, just minimizing the manual work and moving to automation, as simple as that. But one interesting thing, slightly unrelated to supply chain, that we have come across. Now, ours is a company where we want to typically keep adding new products every 2 or 3 years. And traditionally, we were looking at products, we have very strict criteria, for adding products. It shouldn't be manufactured in India. What molecules, there should be integration with our existing products. We have actually been approached by a consulting firm about a digital platform that can screen the entire universe of chemical molecules out there, say 1 lakh molecules, put in our variables, our criteria, and then tell us, what potential products we could get into. So something like that is absolutely new and very interesting for our company.
Absolutely. Uh, Gurmeet, what is the downside of so much technology? Is it really going to eat into manpower? But one really wonders, if there's so much technology, AI, Internet of Things, robotics, where does it leave just basic manpower?
It's not going to do away with manpower. I know that's the question that comes up everywhere, but I guess what's going to happen is, as we reimagine all our workflows, etc., uh, AI is going to help, humanize, or when you look at health, when you look at education, and if I look at India today, I'm back to India. I think all of this is actually going to help up the bar, because once you've got your bandwidth and broadband and our connectivity in our rural areas, imagine a lot of our mundane tasks getting automated by AI, or by the latest of technologies, and the higher value task is what actually is left for humankind, right? And yes, I guess there will be different, so robos and diagnostics, etc., will become the best surgeons, but a lot of the other stuff would come back onto the manpower. So I don't think it's going to be replacing. I think all of this, whether it's the whole experience bit that we spoke about, whether it's on the digital supply chains that we spoke about, yes, they sound like a lot of buzzwords when we talk about IoT and tech devices, etc. But I think each of them is critical today for the technology transformation that we are talking about, and to get the world to move at the pace we want, Aisha.
Right. Gautam, technology or not, at the cost of repeating myself, we're still going to be having all the PepsiCo India products. But what are the trends that you foresee going forward? How is it that technology for a business such as yours, which is from cities to tier 2 to tier 3 to tier 4, that's how vast is your supply chain dynamics at PepsiCo? How does technology enable you to go beyond cities?
Like everyone is saying on this call, we all see a lot of potential in India. And for us, even for PepsiCo, the rural markets are going to be the growth engine for the future, right? And coming down to technologies, over there, so there are a lot of white spaces. So what technology is helping us do is to identify those white spaces and we've invested in some tools, right? So we had a capability to understand what is our distribution reach. The first point we're trying to do is we are trying to increase our distribution reach, right? That's one area. The second area is going to be around, upscaling the capabilities of the rural salesman, right? That's another area. Technology. Everyone has a mobile today. The world has gravitated towards the mobile. Mobile is basically, I would say most of the things people do are centered around the mobile phone. So we are now working with teams to come up with training modules to upskill the rural salesman. Another third area which we are talking about, again, everyone is talking about the supply chain, right? So we are investing in softwares to see how do we optimally reach the end consumer, right? Because ultimately Pepsi is consumed by the consumers, and we have, multiple touch points. We have a project about reducing the number of touches in terms of how does our product reach the end consumer. So the whole idea is how do we cut the long tail and we reach our consumer the fastest. So I would say these are the 2 or 3 focus areas which we can do to address the rural markets in the immediate terms. And from an innovation point of view, like we talk about, right? There is 4G which is coming. There is 5G on the anvil. As the infrastructure improves across the country, it would throw up a lot of more opportunities for us in the future to address the rural markets.
Sure. Rajesh, any closing thoughts?
Absolutely right. When I look at the industry, I believe that it's an inflection point today in the whole digital adoption. Actually, the word digital itself is kind of a bit of a misnomer, honestly, Aisha, because it's like saying electricity. What do you do with it is probably more important, right? But we see growing client interest in realizing more immediate customer and business value by truly identifying use cases to agile digital workflows. That means transforming a process to become become agile and data driven and automated, right? And I honestly believe organizations, because of the pandemic, right, they are becoming more digital a lot sooner, right? So while accelerating digital transformation is more about business innovation than technology adoption. I mean, people will all technologists will all fool ourselves by thinking it's all about digital, it's all about technology, but it is not. It is about business paradigms, business cases, right? So, and it's very clear that a deep understanding of technology is absolutely essential for you to imagine and execute on this business innovation plan that you have. I believe talent becomes this bridge to make this high, tech savvy business innovation happen on the ground. So, as we think about strategies for navigating this whole digital path, we also need to pay attention to building the necessary talent in this country, right? And for that matter, for every organization, I think that becomes so critical, because you got to bridge these business paradigms, business problems that you're going to solve, along with what we can do with technology.
Okay, great. I know this is a subject we can go on and on talking about, but commercial compulsions, I have to wrap the show right here. But Vinity, Rajesh, Gurmeet, Gautam, all of you, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking with us today.
That brings us to the close of this interesting discussion here at Times Network Digital India Summit 2020, Enabling the New Normal, co-presented by Tata Consultancy Services and banking partner Union Bank of India. Thank you so much for watching.